on the show, everybody. Joseph Robert, the fantasy football counselor. We are continuing with the Impact series. I've got the best of the best on YouTube, giving you direct information on particular teams. Today, we're talking about the New England Patriots and the fantasy football impact of Sony Michel, Julian Edelman, and the guys that are going to be fantasy relevant for 2020 fantasy football. In the studio, well, actually here on Zoom, I've got Colby from Patriots Global. His YouTube is rocking. It's amazing. It's a place to be for Patriots fans. What is going on, Colby? Are you ready to dominate here today?
Yes, sir. I'm ready. I mean, let's just hop right into it.
Let's hop right into it, man. Before we do, how do they find you? So can you tell us quickly a little bit about your channel, how you've grown it, and your follower base, a little bit about you so they know who you are.
Yeah, so I run a page strictly for the New England Patriots. I mean, we cover every signing, we cover every trade, we cover every release, we cover every major trade, and we cover some, little things here and there about, quarterback situations and different routes that the New England Patriots could take. We even cover drafts, some guys that they could draft. You guys can find me over on Instagram, Patriots.global. I'm over on Twitter, Patriots Global, the number 2. There's so many outlets that I'm going through, and they're all linked in my YouTube channel.
You're putting a lot of time and effort into it, and I appreciate it. And that's why I love having you on. Now, I'm really good at fantasy, and I don't want to toot my own horn here, but it's just nice because I get that inside information. Like yesterday, I was on with the Raiders guy, and he had told me that Jacobs had a bummed shoulder since like week 7. And I kind of heard some stuff about it, but I wasn't really sure. But it's that extra edge that my fantasy fans are going to get now because of you guys. And it's so insightful. So let's dive in here. Let's talk about, first of all, the quarterback situation. Obviously, Brady's gone. He had a ton of volume last year. I didn't like the touchdowns. I wish I had seen more touchdowns out of Tom Brady. Only, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, still threw over 4,000 yards. Threw a lot of attempts, 613 attempts. So there was a ton of volume, but we know Brady likes to spread the ball around. It's not the most exciting thing for fantasy. He's kind of fallen off the fantasy radar a little bit. Still relevant, but not the most exciting. Who takes his place this year? Is there any trade talks? Is anyone coming in? I know there's talk about Deshaun Watson possibly ending up there. Is it going to be Jared? Like, what's going to happen here at quarterback right now? And again, we're filming this in late March, guys, so stay tuned. If you're getting this information, like these guys are late. No. We're filming this late March, so we want to hear what's happening right now. Please.
Yeah, so honestly, the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick, they have been very, very high on quarterback Jarrett Stidham. They drafted him in the 4th round coming out of this past year's draft. Now, the thing about that guy is a lot of people are pretty hard on him, but he had a down year in college, his final year in Auburn. But before that down year, he was actually considered to be a 1st-round draft pick heading into the 2019 NFL draft. So there's a lot of upside to the kid that a lot of people aren't understanding just because he wasn't selected within the 1st round. And something that they also have to remember that down year in Auburn was a big factor in the fact that he had a terrible, and I mean terrible, offensive line. The guy was not able to get really any passes off. And when he was finally able to get passes off, his receivers, his tight ends, a big issue down there in Auburn was the fact that they were not able to bring in the balls, okay? They were not able to make the contested catches, and that really took a hit on his production. So when I'm looking at the current situation with the Patriots quarterbacks, I'm very high on Jarrett Stidham. We saw amazing things in the preseason. Bill Belichick's the man, okay? A lot of people are super sad about Tom Brady, including myself. He's the GOAT. I grew up with the guy. But at some point, we knew we had to move on. And this guy showed better flashes than Jimmy Garoppolo, okay?
Right.
Better statistics than Jimmy Garoppolo at the time when he came into New England. And again, so many people were high on Jimmy G at the time. Everyone wanted him to be the future. And Jarrett Stidham very well could be that at a better rate. Brian Hoyer is another guy that a lot of people are talking about. The Patriots are going to bring in multiple guys, okay? Let's just get that settled. They already have Cody Kessler, who a lot of people forget the Patriots had. He's been sitting on that bench for really all of last season, and not a lot of people remember that. They also have Brian Hoyer, who knows the Patriots system. He is the Patriots system. That's where he started his career. He was there a couple of seasons ago before he went down to the Colts and signed that big year deal with them. So what's going to happen in New England is that, look, Bill Belichick's not going to come out right now and say Jared Sims our starting quarterback. He's going to give guys like Brian Hoyer the chance, Cody Kessler a chance. A lot of guys are talking about Watson, right? A lot of guys are talking about Cam Newton. The Patriots don't have the cap space to bring in those guys. I don't see it happening. I see them bringing in some, low budget free agents. They'll 100% draft a quarterback. I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback within the first round because of how high they are on Jared Stidham. But 100% at some point in the draft, they're going to draft a younger quarterback because let's remember, Jared Stidham was the backup quarterback. New England is now going to need a new backup quarterback.
Right. Now, do you think he's groomed enough based on inside information? Because he was behind Brady, the best person to be behind, really. And as a mentor, did Brady mentor him? And do you think he's molded enough and ready to go, like plug and play right now?
As a Pats fan, I've heard a lot about, post Brady, what we all want to happen. And every time that we talked about that, it was, let's get the quarterback in there, groom under Brady for a few years. That will be perfect.
Right.
So the honest answer is, look, it's not ideal for Jared Stidham to only have had 1 year under Tom Brady. But at the same time, none of us really expected that this was going to be the outcome this offseason. So how I look at it is, look, he got 1 year under the best of all time. That's
Right.
better than nothing. He's also going to get tremendous help from guys like Brian Hoyer, who Jared Stidham has nothing but praise for. He's going to have help from guys like Cody Kessler, and he's going to get a lot more attention this offseason with Brady gone.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the wide receivers and running back. We're going to talk about Sony Michel. I'll talk about Edelman here. Okay, so if Stidham comes in, is he going to be a similar type of quarterback? Do you see the ball being spread out, or do you see him kind of gravitating towards Edelman? Have you seen anything in training camp or throughout the years when they're training where he's practicing and he's gravitating to a particular receiver? How do you see it playing out in regard to ball distribution?
Yeah, so first of all, what I expect the Patriots to do is, look, you're getting a younger quarterback with Jared Stidham. 100% he's going to be more athletic than Tom Brady, and that's exciting to talk about. That's exciting to watch. It's the mindset, it's the mental capacity that isn't going to be Tom Brady. So I expect the Patriots to really become more of a vertical offense going forward. And the thing about Jared Stidham is the fact that when we saw him in preseason, of course, you weren't really getting those the starting guys. So that's one of the big things. But a guy that we saw Jared Stidham going a lot to, and I'm talking about training camp within OTAs, mini camp, regular training camp, all the preseason games, he was going to one guy. This one guy's name, Jakobi Meyers, okay?
Right.
The undrafted quarterback turned into a wide receiver. Now, in those 4 games that Jakobi Meyers played with Jared Stidham at quarterback, he had 20 receptions for 253 yards and 2 touchdowns, okay?
Right.
Jakobi Meyers for Jared Stidham is Julian Edelman to Tom Brady. And
Wow.
here's exactly, right?
Man. I mean, there's a sleeper right there. I think a lot of people be sleeping on Jakobi right now. He's not even fantasy relevant. No one's even thinking Jakobi right now, but this is great insight.
100%. And the thing is that a lot of people aren't looking into Jakobi for the fact that, look, truth be told, Tom Brady and Jakobi never had a great head-to-head match, okay? Their connection, their chemistry, it was not what Jared Stidham and Jakobi Meyers were. That's just a fact, and that showed on the field last season. But because of the chemistry and the connection that Jakobi and Jared Stidham already have, I mean, he's going to be a guy to watch. And in training camp, he was the guy to watch. He has so much potential going forward, and it's a full slate. It's a different slate now with Tom Brady gone. The chemistry, the connection with every wide receiver, every tight end, every running back, everything's officially switched up. It's not what you originally thought.
Okay, so that's really interesting. How about Harry, Nikhil Harry? What are we expecting out of him? Is there any chemistry that we should be aware of that we're not seeing behind the scenes that could kind of come out of there? And by you telling me Jakobi could be stepping up, that's going to tell me that the target distribution is going to be lower. Now it's making me kind of feel a little bit lower on Edelman. Again, how do you see this? Is Harry going to get his share? Are they going to go to tight ends a little bit more? Does he throw to tight ends? How is the distribution going to be? Or is it going to be mainly Jakobi? How do you see it playing out? I know it's hypothetical, it's your opinion, but you probably have a better insight on how, because again, there's so much uncertainty on this team for fantasy. How does this play out distribution-wise? Who's going to get fed the most?
Well, Jacoby's going to be one of your top guys 100%. Now, I definitely expect Edelman to be a pretty big factor in this, especially because when you look at the Patriots receivers, they were ranked one of the worst in the NFL. I'm talking about top 2 worst in getting separation within their wide receivers, and that's a very big deal. Julian Edelman was a guy who really was the best all-around receiver at truly getting open. So I do expect him to get a good amount of looks. And still be an above average wide receiver, but I just don't think that he's going to be a 1,000-yard receiver like we've seen with Tom Brady over the past few years, because really, that's where Tom Brady has constantly been going to, okay? Tom Brady gets a snap. He's under pressure. He has to get the ball out. Where's he going to? It's going to be Julian Edelman, because really, over the past couple of seasons, that's been the only guy that he's trusted. Again, with Tom Brady gone, everything switches. Now with Nikhil Harry, that's a very interesting topic, okay? Let's remember that Nikhil Harry, he got injured in the preseason. We only got to see him for a few preseason snaps against the Lions, and that was actually more when Brian Hoyer was in the game. So we really haven't gotten to see too much of the connection between Jared Stidham and Nikhil Harry. So that's going to be something that I watch going forward, and I'm super excited for. But from what I saw in the preseason, Jared Stidham loves to go every route. Okay, he's not a guy that's picky. Although he loves to go to Jacoby Myers, he went to a bunch of different wide receivers. He went to a bunch of different tight ends. He likes to create mismatches for opposing defenses and not being able to be a predictable guy, not being able to be like, okay, we know that right now he's going to go to Jacoby Myers. Something else that Jared Stidham likes to do is that he likes to point his eyes at a certain direction with miscommunication with his eyes, and then throw the ball in a totally other direction, kind of something that we have seen with Patrick Mahomes. So I see Nikhil Harry definitely having a more up season. He has a lot of potential. Something that just Jared Stidham loves is to do those over-the-shoulder throws, and that's something that Nikhil Harry is great at. He's great with 50-50 balls. So I see him having a pretty big season, but he's a guy that we're going to have to see kind of how it progresses going forward. As for the tight ends, right now, the Patriots don't have any real tight ends. I mean, who do they have? Matt Lacoste, Ryan Izzo.
Not
Like,
relevant guys for sure.
exactly. And here's the thing is that we're now talking about pro level NFL. Okay. Yeah. I can see them getting more production because Tom Brady's not at quarterback.
Right.
Tom Brady's a very picky quarterback and Jared Stidham's not. Yeah. But at the same time, Jared Stidham's not going to just loft the ball up to him if they're covered. Like, it's just not going to happen. The Patriots have to do something at tight end. So look, the Patriots got the least production out of their tight ends last season. I don't see that changing all too much if they're not able to upgrade at the position.
Okay, so I know some of the needs of the Patriots. We're going to get into Sony Michel real quickly here. So it's, by the way, just to analyze the wide receiver position, sounds like to me, I'm going to stay away from Edelman because I think he's going to still be drafted relatively high in drafts to get for the fantasy people here. And most of the people are fantasy. So I'm going to stay away from Edelman based on assuming that maybe Jacoby and Harry get a little more volume. So I'm probably going to get, if I need a wide receiver, I might get Jacoby a little bit later. And I think a lot of people will sleep on him. You could probably get him super late in your drafts.
100%.
Football. That's kind of the wide receiver situation. It sounds like distribution of the ball is going to vary and it's going to be spread out until maybe he gravitates to somebody. So that's kind of my look on that. Now, the needs for the NFL draft, what do you think they address? Do they need a wide receiver? Do they need a tight end? I think they're locked and loaded at running back. What need do you think they have to address this year? Is it going to be defense, offense? And if so, what offensive position?
Look, the Patriots, they have so many needs heading into this upcoming season. They lost so many guys in free agency. Their cap situation is just unbelievable. One of the worst in the NFL, especially because of dead money. But when I'm looking at the New England Patriots, obviously defense is going to have to be a big thing. They're going to have to use defense tremendously this upcoming season because of the question marks within their offense. So linebacker is going to be a huge one. They lost 3 in free agency. The boogeyman offense that the Patriots had, or boogeyman defense the Patriots had last year, was a big factor in their linebackers, and that whole situation kind of just got thrown out of the door because of free agency. So I'm looking at linebacker and defensive end as big ones. But look, the Patriots need a tight end 100%. Yep. They didn't go anywhere in free agency. They didn't go Eric Ebron. They didn't go anywhere. We heard a lot of rumors about what the Patriots were going to do in free agency. And just like every other year, the Patriots didn't jump on any of them. So I 100% expect a tight end signing at some point, whether that's Thaddeus Moss or even if they go in a later direction, which is something that, I mean, I'm not high on, but it's the New England Patriots, so you never know. This is such a great draft class for wide receivers. It's tremendous from round 1 to round 7. So look, I think the New England Patriots do draft a wide receiver. 100%, they're going to get a younger guy on a small deal going against that really low budget that they have on a 4-year contract. And when you're with New England Patriots and you're in this type of a rebuild situation, that's a perfect situation for you. Now, I don't think that they'll go to the first round for another wide receiver the consecutive year. Bill Belichick has never done that in his entire career, except for last year with Nikhil Harry. I don't see him going back-to-back years with that. I don't think it would be a smart move to go back-to-back years with that. But 100% at some point in the draft, expect Bill Belichick to draft at least one wide receiver.
Cool. Okay, let's talk about the very important Sony Michel. When I first heard Sony Michel was being drafted to the Patriots, I lost it. And you're going to hear me say it. Like, I'm a bit of a jerk when it comes to fantasy football. I say players suck. I rip on people because all I care about is fantasy. So when I heard Sony Michel was there, I said his career was ruined. And sure enough, he's just not getting the volume that I want to see out of him. I'm looking at the distribution here. And is it going to be similar? Let me just pull it up here. I'm looking at it on myself. Is it going to be a similar type of situation where Sony had 247 attempts last year, Burke had 65, James White 67 attempts? I know James White got integrated more with 95 targets, 72 receptions. Are we going to see a what you see is what you get type of scenario, or do you see them start using Sony Michel more of as 3-down back, or is it the same type of story, the running back? How does this play out in your opinion?
Yeah, so look, the quarterback situation is different. The wide receiver, the tight ends, that's all different. The passing game is going to be different, but the running game, it's still going to be the same, okay? Tom Brady leaving isn't going to affect that. The Patriots have always been very versatile within running backs. It's something that they've prided themselves in very, very, very much. You have guys like Damian Harris sitting on the bench all of last season. Rex Burkhead, James White, Damian Harris, Brandon Bolden. All of these guys who are very different running backs, well, except for Damian Harris and Rex Burkhead. But every other guy, very different. They all bring in different aspects.
How about Devlin? James Devlin or Devlin James. I joke around about that name because he's a nobody. And when it comes to fantasy, I see him come horde down touchdowns. You know, I hate this guy for fantasy, man. So, yeah, is Devlin James or James Devlin or whatever the hell his name is he going to be used anymore? Probably.
Yeah, that's going to be a really big question. Look, the Patriots just picked up a fullback in free agency in Danny Vitali. It's a very interesting signing. I love Danny Vitali. Vitali is a receiving threat at fullback. And James Devlin, he's getting up there in age. He's in his 30s, and he's coming off a gruesome neck injury that costed him over half the season. You know, rumors are going around about retirement.
I'm so sad.
I know. I mean, he's an amazing fullback. I love the guy. But there's questions about him going around about retirement and everything. So honestly, it's a wait and see approach because look, the Patriots have Jakob Johnson, a rookie who went in after James Devlin. He ended up getting injured. He was on IR for the rest of the season, but he's a promising rookie with Danny Vitali coming in. There's going to be a lot of question marks surrounding what James Devlin's going to be doing. So he just kind of has to be a wait and see approach after the injury that's coming or that he's just coming off of. But, you know, as for the other running backs, Sony Michel, he's able to be a 3-down back 100%, but the Patriots aren't going to use him as a 3-down back. Now he's going to be the featured back. He's going to be the back that you see in and out of games. He's going to be the guy that you see with the higher snap count game in and game out. I mean, it's why you look at his statistics, and since being drafted each season, he has had over 900 yards. Okay, and I don't see that changing. I expect the Patriots to really go into this upcoming season with the running game as more of a priority, and because of that, making sure their offensive line is intact. I mean, tagging Joe Thuney, that was a very surprising move, even for me as a Patriots fan. I thought the guy was out the door, But because of that move, it just goes to say that the Patriots are really trying to bolster this offensive line, but more specifically trying to make sure that the running game this upcoming season is going to be intact, which it wasn't this past season. It had a lot of issues, but because of the situation at quarterback, they're going to use the run a lot more than they have within previous seasons. So the thing about, fantasy and the Patriots running backs, it's not going to be just one guy. Sony Michel is going to be the number one guy along with, James White, but you're not going to get a guy like Saquon Barkley for the Giants or Josh Jacobs with the Raiders, and that's just the truth.
Right. Very interesting analysis. I really appreciate that. So again, I've learned I'm going to stay away from all Patriots players after this whole conversation for fantasy football 21. So man, a lot of volatility, a lot of uncertainty. This clears up a lot. It gives us a lot more insight. Didn't even think of Jacoby, even as a guy that lives and breathes fantasy. I didn't even think of him as an option. Again, I might get him as a sleeper later with that upside. I will be watching, based on what's going on right now with the world. Hopefully things work out and training camp happens eventually. I'll be watching that situation very closely to see how that connection's going with Jacoby and whoever is the quarterback. I don't know who's going to be at the time. So, yeah, thank you for being on. How long you been doing Patriots analysis? You've been probably grew up watching the Patriots a lot, right? What's the kind of the backstory here? Why you got into this?
Yeah, so I started about 2 years ago. When you go on Instagram, you see all these fan pages, right? And you see everybody trying to be big on fan pages. And I personally loved it. I would love going on Instagram and seeing the Patriots made a signing or rumors about the Patriots, trades. It would just give me a feeling like nothing else ever has.
Yeah,
exactly. So I tried to do that with Instagram. It just wasn't me. It wasn't blowing up because there's so much competition there. And I was always a YouTuber, and I wanted to bring something to YouTube that other people haven't. I wanted to give people the opportunity to be as passionate and as insightful about the New England Patriots as I am. So I mixed my love with YouTube and the Patriots in, and kind of just did it for, me, because I love talking about the Patriots, but also just helping other people get the information out that I know. And it kind of just blew up from there.
That's awesome, man. Keep it up. And you're still young, and we're going to grow together. And yeah, you're going to hopefully, give a lot of insight to my fantasy fans throughout the season. So we're going to have you back for sure. This was kind of a general overview of the Patriots. We're going to dive in deeper as things happen. Maybe we'll get you on after the draft, talk about some stuff after the draft, the results, the aftermath, because that's when I start laying out my 16-round draft solution. And that's when I start looking at the rankings. Once the depth charts are kind of laid out and slightly settled, then I get a feel on who I want to draft. So I'm very interested to see who the Patriots draft and how that situation happens. I just want to end this off by asking you this, and I know you're going to be biased. I know what you're going to say, but I know football pretty well. I have a good sense of what teams are good. I have a good sense of players, especially offensive players, and how things are going to pan out. I'm going to say the way it sits right now that you guys are, and you're going to probably hate me for this, but that's okay. You guys are not the favorite in the division right now. I'm going to give the edge to Buffalo. Do you argue with this?
I don't. Honestly, Buffalo's built such a great team. I mean, bringing in some really great free agency pieces. They have an amazing defense. Buffalo very well could take it, especially with all the uncertainties, the free agent losses we have, and we haven't replenished those losses. It's going to be a head-to-head battle, but I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo took over.
As of right now, though, I got to see after the draft aftermath, but I'm going to give the edge to Buffalo now. I like Allen. I think he's special talent. They've got Diggs in there now. Singletary special. I think they complement him with another back. It's going to be very interesting. I will tell you, I'm not excited right now unless we see what Miami does with their 3 first-round picks or whatever they do. Right now, Miami is, under there. And the Jets, I mean, they are lost. The coach, I can go in there and put up more fantasy points than some of these guys. Not even fantasy points, but they don't have a receiver. I don't know what to tell you about the Jets. They're in trouble. We're going to have the Jets guy on this week because I'm going to rip into him. I have no idea, man, but right now it's going to be head-to-head. I think coaching experience and the back office and the management is going to keep the Patriots in the run.
100%.
But I think the Buffalo Bills have something this year. I think it's going to be very interesting to see. It's going to be an exciting division to watch, that's for sure, because there's a lot of dogs in this division with the Jets and the Dolphins, but it's going to be interesting.
100%.
So thanks for being on. Make sure you guys shoot him a follow. He'll be back on again. It's Colby, and he knows the Patriots better than anybody else. Shoot him a follow, guys. Thanks for being on, Colby. I appreciate it. And that is your Fantasy Impact 2020 for the New England Patriots. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it.